a relatively high-level product overview of Rockwell's FactoryTalk Optix solution. And this session is designed to basically get everyone up to speed regarding what FactoryTalk Optix is, what its features are, and the offerings for FactoryTalk Optix. And if there's a little bit of time after the presentation, I would also like to provide a walkthrough of the FactoryTalk Hub, the FactoryTalk Optix page on the Hub, and what resources are available there. So FactoryTalk Optix, what is it? So FactoryTalk Optix is Rockwell's latest addition to the HMI portfolio. It is a cloud-enabled HMI platform that allows you to design, test, and deploy your HMI applications either from a web browser through the cloud connection in FactoryTalk Hub, or you could do it locally the traditional way. You could download FactoryTalk Optix to your laptop or computer, and you could develop your applications there. It is a modular platform that delivers new options for your design process, for your deployment, as well as the latest in the HMI graphics design with extensibility options that make it pretty much flexible enough for any HMI application you can imagine. So FactoryTalk Optix is a product born of the collaboration between Rockwell and OSM. It brings not only a FactoryTalk Optix HMI software and runtime, but it also brings dedicated hardware for FactoryTalk Optix called Optix panels. And we'll be covering that in a little more detail later. So note that FactoryTalk Optix is an addition to the HMI portfolio. It is not a replacement for existing panel view or FactoryTalk View applications. But in the future, at least unofficially, it will be the go-to HMI solution for new applications very soon. And you'll see why once we talk about all of the features and the new technologies that FactoryTalk Optix brings to the table. So onto the features of FactoryTalk Optix. One of them is you could build your HMI projects wherever, whenever you are. You don't have FactoryTalk Optix installed or downloaded to your PC, there's no problem. The FactoryTalk Optix lives in the FactoryTalk Hub cloud portal. So you can open the cloud-hosted version of FactoryTalk Optix Studio directly from FactoryTalk Hub, and you could build your applications there, or you could continue building your applications there. For example, if you started building your application locally on your computer, you can then upload that application to the cloud. And then should you need to go somewhere remote, you can open up the cloud, load up that project in the cloud version of FactoryTalk Optix and continue working on it there. And it's not only limited to one person, right? You can have a group of users access the very same cloud repository, so you can have multiple users collaborate and work on the same project or different projects simultaneously, anywhere, anytime. Okay, no interconnect connection, no problem. Again, you can do a local install of FactoryTalk Optix Studio locally on your laptop. It's a relatively lightweight client, and it has the ability to seamlessly sync your locally installed projects with the corresponding projects up in the cloud. So whatever changes you make can be committed and applied to the cloud version for all relevant users to see. Not sure which HMI device to be using? No problem. The HMI applications developed through FactoryTalk Optix are dynamic, meaning that once you build the FactoryTalk Optix application, you can essentially download that application and the runtime to any computer with a screen. It could be an industrial PC, like an OSM PC, or a third-party PC. It could be an OSM integrated touch panel or HMI, or third-party HMIs that don't have a dedicated runtime. Or you could use the Optix panels, which are dedicated hardware designed to run FactoryTalk Optix applications. And again, we'll go into the benefits of the Optix panel in a little bit. So leveraging the FactoryTalk Optix integration with the FactoryTalk Hub cloud, this enables FactoryTalk Optix to have multiple users collaborate on the same workflow or same project from anywhere, anytime. There's also included version management, which tracks and keeps changes of who did what change and when. And there's also dedicated secure cloud storage for your FactoryTalk Optix applications. And again, the version control to keep track of which projects or which revisions of your projects are available on the cloud. So once you create an application, you only need to do it once, and then you could deploy it to any sort of HMI or industrial PC device you wish. There are many different applications that FactoryTalk Optix can apply to. It could be single panel applications, station applications, even distributor applications using the unlimited license. FactoryTalk Optix are built off the ARM architecture. Well, the Optix panels are. All right, and FactoryTalk Optix applications can be run on any platform that supports Linux or Windows operating systems. The applications are scalable, and we'll go into the scalable runtime licenses in a bit and where to find the calculator for that. But essentially, the customer only pays for what they use. It is a modular platform. So essentially, you build your own HMI using FactoryTalk Optix. You build your HMI application. So there's no extra features that you pay for then you're not going to use. And you could choose the type of clients you wish to deploy. There's a native FactoryTalk Optix client, which can run on hardware like Optix PC, industrial PCs and Optix panels. And there's also HTML web clients that can be viewed from a web browser from those same PCs or those dedicated Optix panels, or even your mobile devices as well. So on to that, responsive displays, again, you build your application once and you could deploy it to essentially any sort of end device you imagine. Thanks to the way that FactoryTalk Optix applications are designed using containers instead of pages, it is dynamically scalable to any size screen you can imagine. Various formats. It could be widescreen, it could be 4:3 screens. It doesn't matter. And it supports both native and web client or web project offerings as yes, deployments as well. Multi-language settings. This allows FactoryTalk Optix to be deployed and custom suited to any applications around the world. Right, it has supports various languages natively. It also has international settings with automatic adjustment for unit and date and time conversions as well. As you see in the demo there, you can configure live buttons to convert the current strings in your HMI application to translate them to the language you wish. Okay, FactoryTalk Optix Studio, it adopts sort of a new approach compared to FactoryTalk View Studio in that it uses wizard-based workflow. So this makes it easier and it makes it more intuitive to design and configure your FactoryTalk Optix applications. It uses scalable vector graphics and also advanced scalable vector graphics was basically the industry standard for for HMI graphics now. Dynamic link filters and deep cross references help you find whatever you have in your project, no matter how large your project can get or where it is. You can easily find it using the advanced powerful search filters in FactoryTalk Optix Studio. And you could also create many different templates to boost the efficiency of your design process in FactoryTalk Optix Studio. FactoryTalk Optix Studio, of course, as any good HMI would do, it also supports logging. So data logging using either your local database saved inside your PC or your Optix panel, or it could also connect to remote databases, ODBC. So you have options there. It could display historical trend data or even real-time trend data. You could do alarms, recipes, text box control, you name it. And Optix also has the ability to do lightweight reporting and dashboarding, right? It could do PDF reports. It could do small time live dashboards for just easy and powerful monitoring at a glance. FactoryTalk Optix comes with many different libraries housing thousands upon thousands of graphical objects for you to use and customize the look and aesthetic of your optics application. And these utilize industry standard objects, so it's nothing uncommon that you'll see there. And the best thing is that you can also create your own libraries and develop your own uh, widgets or your own objects for FactoryTalk Optix. And these custom libraries you make can also be uploaded to the cloud and be shared with members of your organization involved in the project so they can also utilize those libraries and help boost their workflow as well. Flexible, secure connectivity. Optix supports a wide array of communication protocols to various controllers. Of course, it natively supports Rockwell over Ethernet IP. It also supports MQTT for your IoT connectivity to your cloud-based databases. It supports secure HTTPS protocols. It also supports some third-party drivers. So third-party drivers for communication to specifically like Mitsubishi PLCs, Omron PLCs, and it even supports more generic or more industry standard serial communication or TCP communication drivers such as Modbus or generic serial. But the biggest thing that FactoryTalk Optix supports is native OPC UA support. So it is not a stretch to say that OPC UA is essentially the core of FactoryTalk Optix. And this is what allows FactoryTalk Optix to be so flexible in terms of integration into existing applications or making an application out of FactoryTalk Optix and having it be available to have other products integrate into the Optix application. It has full support of OPC UA companion specs. Right, FactoryTalk Optix can be designed to be OPC UA client or server. So this is the premier communication protocol for integration in industrial automation today. And last but not least, FactoryTalk Optix, for your customers who are more programming savvy, they can get a lot more out of FactoryTalk Optix with open scripting capability. So FactoryTalk Optix has an open API available via C# scripting. And what this allows customers to do is that they can create custom logic inside the FactoryTalk Optix application to customize the functionality of the application, how it behaves, and you can compare values and have it bring up certain pages or certain widgets or dialog options at your disposal. And it can also be used to customize the visual style and behavior of the graphics in your FactoryTalk Optix. So for customers who have C# scripting capability, they can create a truly highly personalized, highly customized optics application at their fingertips. So here's just an overview over what we talked about all in one slide. Are there any questions so far?
Anthony, I have a bunch of questions, but I think I'm going to wait until the end.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So we shall move on. So now that we have an idea of what FactoryTalk is and its capabilities, let's talk about the components that make up FactoryTalk Optix. So first is the FactoryTalk Optix Studio. This is the design and configuration environment where you would build, design, and test your FactoryTalk Optix HMI applications. It is available in two flavors or two forms. You have your local desktop editor, so you would download FactoryTalk Optix Studio to your computer and work on it there, or the web browser version where FactoryTalk Optix Studio is hosted in the cloud, so you access that through your web browser. Now, second is the hub, about the hub. So we'll talk about FactoryTalk FactoryTalk Hub in a little bit, but it is the portal for Rockwell's cloud-based software services. Again, this is where FactoryTalk Optix essentially lives, at least the cloud-based version. And your customer can also download FactoryTalk Optix as well as FactoryTalk Optix related resources from the FactoryTalk Hub. FactoryTalk Hub also has what is called the FactoryTalk Vault. This is where your FactoryTalk Optix applications can be saved to the cloud securely in the FactoryTalk Vault. Third is the FactoryTalk Optix application itself. So this is the result of building your HMI application in FactoryTalk Optix Studio. And the Optix application is composed of two parts. That's your project, which is your HMI, and then a runtime, which basically houses the HMI and application allows it to run on your hardware. Fourth, FactoryTalk Optix application can be deployed to any end device that has a screen, essentially. You could deploy locally from your computer connected over LAN, or you could deploy remotely from the cloud itself using FactoryTalk Optix Remote Access. Okay, that is another service of FactoryTalk Hub. And finally, FactoryTalk Optix, when it's all deployed and running on your end devices, communication to your other devices and controllers, right? Supports third-party controllers as well through either OPC UA or dedicated drivers. And again, it can be deployed to any end device with a screen. It could be third-party devices or it could be Rockwell devices, such as the OSM series or the Optix panels. So about FactoryTalk Optix Studio, there are two options. There's the standard version of FactoryTalk Optix Studio, which is free and available to download from either FactoryTalk Hub or PCDC. So the standard version is the version that you download locally to your desktop. So it's the local editor. Then there's the Pro license. That is a subscription-based license, something you customer would pay for. And this allows the customer access to the cloud-based functions of FactoryTalk Optix Studio, which includes the web-based version of FactoryTalk Optix Studio, the multi-user collaboration, saving applications to the cloud, version control for your projects and libraries, and also remote deployment from the cloud. And here is a table that outlines sort of what the difference between standard and the Pro versions are. An easy way to remember, Pro allows you to use the cloud functions of Optix Studio. So again, FactoryTalk Optix Studio can be downloaded from FactoryTalk Hub, right? And it's very simple. To log in FactoryTalk Hub, your customer will log in using their My Rockwell credentials, and they would also set up some multi-factor authentication once they are in there. There's a whole other document for creating an organization in FactoryTalk Hub. So I won't go into too much detail on that, but essentially it's a very straightforward process and customers should have no problem getting Optix Studio from FactoryTalk Hub. I would highly recommend that they do sign up for FactoryTalk Hub because in addition to Optix Studio, there are additional resources that will be very helpful for them there. Okay, and Optix Studio Pro, which is allows you to get access to the cloud-based functions of FactoryTalk Optix Studio, is subscription only, and it is one license per user. Okay, so just a note on that. And here are the two ways you can download Optix Studio from the PCDC, which you may be familiar with, or the Hub portal, which I recommend because there's additional benefits to having a FactoryTalk Hub account. So about FactoryTalk Hub, just a little aside, just to sort of describe it for those who are not aware, FactoryTalk Hub is Rockwell's portal for their cloud-based software and services. It is composed of three sub-hubs, so to speak. There's the Design Hub, which is software dedicated to streamlining your automation design process. There's the Operation Hub, which is dedicated to operations management through the cloud. And then there's Maintenance Hub, which is dedicated to asset management and predictive maintenance related software. But for now, we'll only be focusing on Design Hub because this is where FactoryTalk Optix lives. And there's also additional software besides FactoryTalk Optix and the Design Hub that the customer could leverage as well. So in the Design Hub, of course, FactoryTalk Optix Studio is here. This is where you can download FactoryTalk Optix Studio. You could download whichever version you want. You could download the runtime. You could use the license calculator, and you could also view demos through the Optix page, to the FactoryTalk Optix page in the Design Hub. But in addition to Optix Studio, you also have FactoryTalk Twin Studio, which is the whole suite of emulation software. There's also FactoryTalk Design Studio, which is essentially a cloud-based version of Studio 5000. There's FactoryTalk Vault, which you can save and store your various FactoryTalk applications or your projects or your even data in FactoryTalk Vault securely. And then there's Remote Access, which allows you to remotely access Rockwell devices through VPN securely. And for FactoryTalk Optix Studio, this would also allow you to do the remote cloud deployment of your FactoryTalk application. Okay, now that we've talked about the hub and FactoryTalk Optix Studio, let's talk about the licensing. So licensing, from what I've seen and from what I've heard from the various sessions I've attended, there's oftentimes some confusion regarding the licensing model for FactoryTalk Optix. So I'll try to break it down into something that's hopefully easier to understand. So the way FactoryTalk Optix licensing is handled is that it's pay for what you need, right? You build your HMI application feature by feature. So how FactoryTalk Optix license is offered is that your license is determined by the features that you wish to build into your HMI. So each feature you wish to deploy to your HMI is going to have what is called a token cost. So for example, if you want the ability to do recipes in your HMI, that's going to cost you one token. You want to do data logging, that's going to cost you another token. Controller connections, right? Another token, and so on and so forth. So if you have it, if your customer has an idea of what they want their HMI to do and they list out the features, then from those lists of features, we can calculate the total token cost. And once we have that total token cost, we can now pick a license package that will fit that token cost. So each license package has a specific number of tokens, right? Each package, as you see here on the right, your extra small package with smallish package has 5 tokens, up to the small has 8, medium has 11, large has 15, extra large has 21, and then there's the unlimited package, which has no token limit, so it could do anything. But essentially what you want to do is ask the customer what kind of features, what they want their HMI to do, and then derive token costs based on that list of features, and then pick out the package that has equal to or more tokens than that total token cost that they have. Okay. And then this will be made a lot easier once I go through a walkthrough in FactoryTalk Hub and show you the license calculator. Okay, but essentially this is how the flexible licensing model works, and this is how the customer pays for what they need only. Okay. Now, next up, the optics panel. So the optics panel is an ASM panel, essentially, that is dedicated to run FactoryTalk Optix applications. And it comes in 2 families. You have your compact series terminals. They're small, cost-effective terminals that come in either resistive touch screens or your multi-touch glass capacitive screens. And then you have your standard terminals. These are the higher end panels. They come in various bezel types. Also comes in stainless steel IP69K for your life sciences or food and beverage type applications. It comes in 10 different sizes and various aspect ratios. And there's also brandless versions available for both the compact and standard terminals. So why use an optics panel over something like an OSM PC or OSM integrated touchscreen? Both of them can run a FactoryTalk Optix application and software. So why use Optix panel? Well, Optix panels are already pre-configured to run FactoryTalk Optix applications, right? They are specifically designed for certain size applications right off the bat. So Rockwell's picked out the processor, the RAM requirements, and power requirements all ready to go in the package. It's a simplified selection. As you may know, some of the OSM offerings can be quite staggering. So FactoryTalk, the Optix panels have basically give you a small list of parts to choose from, but they're very efficient with how they did that. So it's a very simplified product selection. You only have to choose from so many offerings, and it'll work with basically up to large size applications for your FactoryTalk Optix application. They are more cost effective. They use ARM-based hardware. So this allows them to reach a better price point than most other industrial PCs. And it comes pre-installed with a closed OS. So that helps reduce the risk of tampering or risk of something going wrong during maintenance or implementation. So example use cases for the Optix terminal. So the Optix, as mentioned before, the Optix panels are pre-configured and designed for certain size optics applications. So for small applications, i.e. applications that fit the small size license for FactoryTalk Optix, you would use the compact terminals. That would be the best fit for those. And small means anything 8 tokens or less. And on the left shows an example of the features you may see in there, but it's just an example. Okay. And for anything up to a medium size application, which is 11 tokens or less, right, you would use the standard optics panels. However, that's not all. The optics panels are also designed with enough headroom to support an upgrade to those licensed sizes or application sizes. So if the customer if the customer has an optics compact panel, right, running a small FactoryTalk Optix application, and they wish, hey, I want to add some additional features, but this requires me to move up to a medium license. Do I need to upgrade to a standard terminal? Answer is no. You could simply upgrade to a medium license right then and there, and the Optix compact panel can handle it, right? And same case with the Optix standard panel. Customer wishes to upgrade to a large application because they need more tokens for more features that they wish to add. It's very easy. They just upgrade the license to a large license, and the Optix standard panel can handle that. So do note that it's one size only. So the maximum application size, I believe, that the Optix panels can support is a large size license using the Optix standard panel. Okay. And here are some additional resources, right? Regarding FactoryTalk Hub, regarding the Optix launch kits, battle cards, hotspots for additional information, and there's also an on-course hands-on lab. So you can sign up for an on-course lab to learn more about optics, or you could also sign up sessions for customers who are very interested in optics and wish to take a lab course on that as well. And there's also some YouTube videos for more visual, further education, so to speak, on that. Okay, so that about wraps up that overview for FactoryTalk Optix. Are there any questions?